Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So in the previous statistics video, we had seen about the topic which was comparing two independent population means with the unknown population standard deviation, right? This was the topic which we had seen in the previous video. Now today we'll be continuing out this topic, but before doing that, just let me give you an overview so that you can correlate from the previous video whatever we had studied out, right? So the two independent samples are some simple random samples from two distinct populations, right? That we had understood, right? We had understood even that if the both populations are normally distributed with the population means and standard deviations unknown unless the sample size are greater than 30. In that case, the population need not be normally distributed. Right, we had seen out these things. Now we had even seen one very much important thing here, that was a note. So my note was the test comparing two independent population means with unknown and possibly unequal population standard deviation is called the Aspin-Welch test. We had seen this new test name which was Aspin-Welch test, right? And even we had seen that the degrees of freedom formula was developed by Aspin-Welch. Then we had seen about the difference in the sample mean, that is x1 bar minus x2 bar, and even we had seen about the standard error. This was all that we had seen in the previous video. Now today we will be doing out the t-score. Now we'll be seeing out the t-score for this particular. So let me just take out some color so that we can differentiate between the two. Okay, right here let's start. So I would just start writing that the test is statistics. The test is statistic. That is basically what? That is the t-score. Fine. So test is statistic that the t-score is basically calculated as follows. Okay, it is basically calculated as follows. Now let's put out the formula for calculating out this t-score. Okay, let's put out that particular formula. So here I am having the formula which is x1 bar minus x2 bar. This is the same mean which we had calculated above. Okay, x1 bar minus x2 bar. Subtraction with the mu1 minus mu2. Okay, mu1 minus mu2. Just hold on for a while. I'll be letting you know that what are these x1, x2, what are this mu1, mu2. Everything I'll be telling you out, right? Then onto the denominator, put out the under root and use here s1 upon n1. Okay, s1 upon n1, that is the whole square. Not the whole square, just 1 second. Here it is only s1 square. Okay, don't make this mistake next time. And here we have s2 and here goes the whole square upon n2. This is the formula for calculating out the statistics the test statistic, that is basically the t-score. Now it seems to be a little bit of harder formula, but if you just come on and see out this formula, so it's not that much harder. See here, what is x1 minus x2 bar? That is okay. We subtract it from the mu1 minus mu2 and onto the under root what we put out. Just let me go above. Onto the under root, we just put out the standard error which we had already calculated. This was the formula, right? And now just match out the formula which I had put on the denominator. Yes, the formula is absolutely same. There is nothing new which we are actually doing. We are simply using one new thing which is mu1 minus mu2. Right? Fine. Now what I would tell that what x1, x2, and s1, s1 and all these things are actually right here. Fine. So let's start here. So I would write s1 and s2. Okay, s1 and s2. These are the samples. The sample standard deviation. The sample standard deviations are estimated of sigma 1 and sigma 2. Okay, so S1 and S2 basically are the sample standard deviation and basically are estimated of sigma 1 and sigma 2. Fine, this is the idea. After that, I'll be putting out the sigma 1 and sigma 2, that what are these two things which we are having. So sigma 1 and sigma 2, these are basically the unknown. These are the unknown population standard deviation. These are the unknown population standard deviation, right? Okay, so I would just put out. Now, just please see out the differences between both of these, because the difference here are okay. So I had just S1 and S2 are the sample standard deviation which are estimated of sigma 1 and sigma 2. And what is the sigma 1 and sigma 2? So these are the unknown population standard deviation, right? And after that, what we are having? We are having x1 bar and x2 bar. So what are these x1 and x2 bars? So these are the sample. These are the sample mean. These are the sample. Where's my pen? Okay, these are the sample mean. Okay, and mu1 and mu2, and I will just put out here. Let that be mu1 and mu2. Let me now just come down a little bit. So here are down. So mu1 and mu2, these are basically, so I would just put on here, these are the population mean. So population mean. Now understand it in here that what are this S1 and S2. So S1 and S2 are basically the sample standard deviation are estimated of sigma 1 and sigma 2. So these are actually estimated of sigma 1 and sigma 2. Now what is the sigma 1 and sigma 2? So these are the unknown population standard deviations, right? Now let's see about x1 bar and x2 bar. So x1 bar and x2 bar are the sample means which we are having out here. What about the mu1 and mu2? So mu1 and mu2 are the population mean, right? So all the four parameters which we have listed above into the formula, we had just got out the idea that what are these formulas, right? I mean parameters, right? Now let's see about the degrees of freedom. The degrees, I would just now take the topic which is degrees of freedom. Okay, so I would just write here the degrees of freedom, that is we basically call it as DF. I would just write here as DF. Okay, so degrees of freedom DF is basically a complicated calculation. It's it's a little bit of complicated calculation. The formula is not like complicated, but yeah, calculating out this degrees of freedom is a complicated calculation, right? Now, fine. So basically, basically DFs are not always a whole number. Okay, we are going to divide out some things here. So we can say that the DF which we will be calculating, the DFs which we are calculating, that are not always the whole numbers. Okay, the test statistics calculated, that is the t-score. The t-score which is calculated above is basically approximated by the student seat distribution with DFs as follows. Okay, I will just let you know that. Let me write out that thing. Fine. Okay, one more thing, that if you're just going to calculate the degrees of freedom with the help of a calculator, it can easily be calculated actually. Okay, but if you're just going to do it manually, yeah, you can make out some mistakes at some point. Okay, let me write that. So I would just write that the DFs are not always a whole number. The DFs are not always a whole number. Okay, so DFs are not always the whole number. Let me come down here. Okay, here goes the test. The test statistic, that is basically I'm referring to the t-score. Let me write that t-score in the bracket only. Fine. Okay, the test statistic, that is the t-score, calculated the above one which we have calculated. Okay, the calculated above is approximated by the students t distribution. I would just write students t distribution. So basically the t-score which is calculated, which we have calculated actually above, so that is approximated by the student t distribution with DFs. That is my degrees of freedom. Right, so basically now let's write out the formula for this DF which we are actually having out here. So degrees of freedom, the formula for the same is, I would just put on here as DF is equal to okay, inside the large bracket I have S1 upon N1. Okay, this S1 basically will be squared out. So S, okay, just 1 second. Let me write it in a fair handwriting because it's a little bit complicated ones. Okay. So S1 upon N1. Okay. And this S1 would be actually squared. S1 upon N1. After that, we have the same, which is S2. This S2 will as well be squared, and upon we are having N2. Okay. Now this is in the numerator. The whole square of this actually. Fine. This is the thing which we are actually having here in the numerator. Now let's go to the denominator, and let me just come down here. Fine. Into a denominator, we are having 1 upon, here goes the n1 minus 1. Okay. Multiplied by bracket, and into the bracket I am having s1 upon n1, and this s1 would actually be squared. So like this, s1 upon s1 square upon n1. Close out this bracket and put out the square for this. Right. Now plus 1 upon n2 minus 1, and here I am again having the same, which is actually now not the s1, it is s2 square upon n2, the bracket like this, and here goes the square of it. Fine. This is the whole formula for calculating out the degrees of freedom, and here goes the multiplication. So formula for calculating out the degrees of freedom. This is the formula which we are having for calculating out the degrees of freedom. Now let me come down and put out the things here. Fine, let me just tell you that what are the things which mean. So I would just write here something as well. So when both sample size which we are having, when the both sample size n1 and n2, okay, both the sample sizes which we are having n1 and n2, okay, are 5 or larger. Okay, when the both sample size are 5 or basically larger than 5, then in that case, then the students T approximation, we'll just write that approximation is very good. We can say that is very good actually. I would just write here very good. So when both the sample size n1 and n2 are 5 or larger than 5, then basically the student's T approximation is said to be very good. Okay. Now, basically, yeah, after this we do not have any particular specifications for this particular thing, right? Let me just go above and let you know that what we had done today. So we had seen that how we can just calculate out the t-score. So we had seen out the formula, that was x1 bar minus x2 bar minus mu1 minus mu2 upon, we had under root s1 square upon n1 plus s2 square upon n2. After that, we had seen S1 and S2 were a sample standard deviation which are estimated of sigma 1 and sigma 2. And sigma 1 and sigma 2 are the unknown population standard deviations, right? X1 bar and X2 bar are the sample mean. Mu1 and mu2 are the population mean. The degrees of freedom, that is DF, is a very complicated calculation. So DFs are not always a whole number. The test statistic t-score calculated above is approximated by the student's T distributed with DFs, right? So this was the formula which we had seen. DF is equal to S1 square upon N1 plus S2 square upon N2 whole square divided by 1 upon N1 minus 1 multiplied by S1 square upon N1 whole square plus 1 upon N2 minus 1 multiplied by S2 square upon N2 whole square. When both the sample size N1 and N2 are 5 or larger, then the student's T approximation is said to be very good. Right. Hope you just got the idea regarding the formulas for the t-score and the degrees of freedom. Right. So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care.